Okay. That should be fine. Cool. We're live on YouTube now, too, if you prefer to watch it over there at Dustin Gray Live. Yeah, so while nothing happens, I figure let's try and see what's going on with these protests. I don't really imagine much, to be honest. Military parade and no king's protest. Okay, so the AP's got a quadruple cam. Let me...
So I am proud to Salvadorans. Oh yeah. I support the dictator Bukele in El Salvador. Let me be clear. I am proud to be an immigrant in this country.
Let's make that ear-sized. Alright, I like that. What I'm thinking about doing is getting chat in this news feed at the bottom here. I think that'd be kind of cool. So, while all this happens, I'm going to be doing some coding. I'm going to get the audio here. So, I need a good logo. Has anyone like was fucking around? I'm not gonna use an AI logo, but I was just like thinking if there's some shit to do. And it came up with a damn good one, and now I would feel bad if I used that one because you know it's stupid. You can't use AI. It's disingenuous. Not who I am. So, yeah, also... I just don't know. I'm trying to shift things up around here and make this a real, broadcast looking. I'll deprive you of some good quality protest feed. Oh, this is on the Dustin Gray Live account. Gotta make sure I'm subscribed to the AP there. They do great work. Yeah, okay, so these are the only two live things. Oh, okay. Skip the live broadcast. Perfect. So, we've got Tel Aviv, we've got DC. And yeah, I think I'll just talk for a bit. The No Kings protests, I think they're like everywhere around, no? So, if any of you are there or thinking about going, just do be safe. You know. If you're gonna protest, have a coherent message, know why you're there, and don't be violent. You want to advance a cause? Make the other side look like a dick, not you. It's, Tales old as time. So, yeah. So I want to read about this. Two lawmakers got shot, I think. Minnesota lawmaker and her husband were shot and killed in their home early Saturday as someone posing as a police officer and a second lawmaker and his wife were wounded in what Governor Tim Walz described as targeted political violence. Former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her spouse were killed in their Brooklyn Park home. The other lawmaker and his wife were shot multiple times in Champlain, authorities said at a news conference. Authorities were actively searching for suspects following the shootings. So, is there any reason for it? No, tonight. Alright, let's see. manages the largest school district in Minnesota. So they're saying it's political. Looks like these guys the people were Democrats, but is it just that? Like obviously, sure. It's bad that this happened, but I'd be curious. Wait, sorry, are people standing on the... Look at the top left camera. Is that person standing on a military vehicle? Is that... all out? Oh, also the National Guard, or not the National Guard, sorry, the Marines were seen arresting somebody who's a citizen, so there's actually a lot to go over. So yeah, they are on the truck. That's something. Maybe something will happen. I'm kidding. Nothing has ever happened, nor will. Although, no one was there yesterday, but I tuned into the Tel Aviv live stream like the second a missile dropped. That was a little terrifying. That just absolutely stunned me. I got still knocked for a good 10 minutes. I've just never followed a conflict this closely. Sorry, voice crack. Never followed a conflict this closely, and knowing it was live, seeing a missile just land in a city was like, holy shit. Oh yeah, I guess people are standing on some military stuff. But so far it doesn't seem like dick is happening. Alright, well. Okay, it doesn't seem like there's anything too specific. Let's make this a small separate window. Let's pop this out. Just have some backgrounds. Can I make it full screen but in the back? I can. Awesome. Alright, so yeah, this is what I'm hearing. We'll do the live feeds, I guess. So, we add a new capture. Sorry, I'm experimenting with this whole, live stream. Window capture. Let's go secondary. There we go. Perfect. Let's turn it a little bit smaller. Boom. Alright. Motherfucker stimulated enough. Enough going on screen. Now this is real broadcasting. Alright, let's, while we wait for... I just realized how crass the thing I was going to say was, but... While we wait for either the military to attack protesters or Israel/Iran doing something, let's go over the arrest of the U.S. citizen by the Marines. And then I think there's also a Trump the court case between Trump and some fucker. Oh, right, Gavin Newsom got appealed. What a broadcast, right? Oh, I haven't taken my notes, so that's probably not helping me. I just can't get over how much shit is going on the screen. Okay. So, this is from the AP, as you can see. The spinning cube is so cool because it's dynamic. Oh my god, that guy's just sitting in a Humvee. Alright, so shortly after they began guarding a Los Angeles federal building, Friday, U.S. Marines detained a man who walked onto the property and did not immediately hear their commands to stop. The brief detention marked the first time federal troops have detained a civilian since they were deployed to the nation's second largest city by Donald Trump in response to protests. Okay, yep. The man, Marcos Lau, was released later without charges and said the Marines were just doing their job. So he's not pissed. The Marines are... But the implication of this is laid out in the judge's ruling on Newsom's preliminary injunction, TRO, I think. So let's get to that in a moment so we can connect some dots here. Posse comitatus, as they say. Anyways. So if we look up Posse comitatus. Okay. Brenner Center for Justice any good? The Posse Comitatus Act bars federal troops from participating in civilian law enforcement except when expressly authorized by law. This 147-year-old law embodies an American tradition that sees military interference in civilian affairs a threat to both democracy and personal liberty. Wow! Huh. Wow. It's crazy how these things happen, huh? Sorry. However, recent events reveals dangerous gaps in the law's coverage that Congress must address. This cold is evergreen. I will never get over this fucking thing. Trying to find a place to put my fucking head so I'm not blocked. I don't want to deprive you all of that wonderful, wonderful view of me. Let's see. What does Posse Comitatus mean? Group of people mobilized by the sheriff. Origins. So, exceptions. That's what I'm looking for. The most important one is the Insurrection Act under this law. Okay. But that's not what's being utilized here. There are no constitutional exceptions to the Posse Comitatus Act. The law only allows for express exceptions, and no part of the Constitution expressly empowers the president to use the military to execute the law. This conclusion is consistent with the law's legislative history, which suggests that its drafters chose to include the language. God, I hate that when this is blocked. Fuck me. I hate allergy season. How are y'all handling with that fucking shit? Anyways. The law's legislative history, which suggests that its drafters chose to include the language about constitutional exceptions as part of a face-saving compromise, not because they believed any exist. Brenner Center for Justice, I'm not sure. I want you to be right, obviously, but this hasn't stopped the DoD from... Loud. It hasn't stopped the DoD from claiming that constitutional exceptions to the law exist. The department has long claimed that the Constitution implicitly gives the military commanders the right emergency authority to unilaterally use federal troops to quell large-scale unexpected civil disturbances. That's not... This is a great layout. Dude, it's fucking... You're fucking with me, right? It's like, I feel like Subway Surfers for politics. But like... Oh, well... I'm trying out some new shit. What I'm gonna do now, or in a second here, is I'm gonna put Nothing Ever Happens Chud in one of the... I'm gonna replace the logo on the spinning cube with a different thing, and then I want to do like a stock. Cool. I want to put this gem in one of them, but I want to figure out a way to either have chat interaction to put like the Nothing Ever Happens guy versus the Soy Jack.
AP, great. Do you want to interview a soldier? Sure, happy to.
Like the one of these guys where it's like something's happening, like a gauge. I was gonna try and cove that yesterday, but I was eventually just kind of running out of it. So for now, I'll just have Nothing Ever Happens be one of the guys on the shit. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm kind of... I was very far from Nothing Ever Happens. And then yesterday, the missiles and bombs just stopped. And I was like, okay, so nothing ever happens. And these protests are also... Nothing's ever happening. Nothing shall ever happen. Oh, bro, you don't know by now? I mean, the military arresting a guy, it's always something that should be the happening. The fire gets started, but the wood is fucking wet or something. Israel and Iran attacking each other, that could have been World War III. But instead, they did all their shit, and then they're like, alright, we're done. And Trump's never getting arrested or ever getting prosecuted for violating posse comitatus. This seems like a more direct thing. Sorry. But, they're expecting more. But I cannot imagine still tit for tat. Right. So that's the thing where it's like a lot of bluster, but it's quite similar to the same, yeah. So that's like the agreement we've done. Yeah, well, there was never going to be a invasion. It was just going to be how long are they going to sling shit at each other. But I saw one of these like bomb or missile impacts live. I was streaming for a bit yesterday, and I opened this up, and I just like was stun locked for.
Yeah, looks like it's going. All right. And plant your.
Because
where you're at there, just
like. I've never seen something like that happen live. Not that this shit doesn't happen like every day, I get it. Not like it.
Just by introducing yourself, sir.
But it is wild that I, like, just opening up a live stream and like 5 minutes later a fucking missile lands.
Patterson. It's K-I.
Like,
I'm the
I don't know.
public affairs
Fucking
officer for the 1st Cavalry Division,
insane
Fort
shit.
Cavazos, Texas.
If you ask me. Okay, so I also want to
Your
look
whole entire
at,
unit is out here.
Not the entire unit.
there's a Federal
just
Marines.
slightly less than one
arrests.
brigade
It is?
is here. We have
Question
about 600 soldiers and troopers
Although it's
out
funny,
here.
the citizen who got arrested was
More
like,
than,
yeah,
200
they were just doing their
participating
job.
in the parade itself. And then, like the
Is this
M109 howitzer that's behind me, the Paladin is what we
looks
call
too
it.
professional?
We
I
have
don't
several
like it.
crews
Oh,
out
brother.
here,
The
at the Army
content
250th
will
birthday
dissuade you.
celebration. The
See this
Army's
spinning cube?
250th,
I'm gonna add this guy
birthday
to one of the
celebration out
sides.
here, engaging
So,
with the public,
don't worry.
and talking to people
It's
about
still me.
the
I'm
Army
just
and the Army's history.
Trying out a
and its
different
profession.
format. And I'm thinking about doing like,
Quite an interesting sight
I had a friend suggest to do like a weekly show at the end, not live, just recorded. So I can blab for however long on stream, but having like a succinct hour and a half
What we're allowing the public to
weekly
come up
video
with is meet the
on
quote.
just, hey, here's the
No machine
haps.
works without its
I
people.
think that'd be
And so,
pretty
come up,
good.
talk to the soldiers,
Okay,
meet
so
the
let's.
crew,
I'm trying
and see
to
it. Take
find a
pictures
video
outside
on
of the,
these
vehicle, and then
Marines,
without pictures, so you can come inside, you can take a look.
because
We really want to have kind of a tangible
I
hands-on
want to do some coding to
experience,
put the nothing
for
ever
the public.
happens
It's
guy
not always every day that you get to come up next to
on
a big
screen.
howitzer like that, or come up and see one of our Bradley infantry fighting vehicles and some of the
Law.
other things that we've brought out. Some of these will also be in the parade
So-
that you'll see this evening. And so, with these in the
Isn't
parade,
isn't this like some
some of the
huge
folks that come out
violation
here
of
today, they can say, I've seen it, I've stood
Posse
next to it, I can
Comitatus?
see the size of these things, and really have a great hands-on experience.
You're telling me I gotta do the work?
You know, we're surrounded by museums, and a lot of kids come to DC and they want to touch it all.
You got a world record on Hearthblade? Oh my god!
So, elaborate a little bit more on not only this tangible experience, but many of the others
Okay.
that you're seeing around the country. Why is it so important to get that physical
So there's
connection
just this
to
Houston
what the Army does
protests.
and
I
maybe
only
it's
care
like-
really about the
Yeah,
DC
absolutely.
one.
So
There's some
really,
people
this
like
is an
standing in
inspirational
Humvees,
event.
but like
Celebrates the Army's 250th birthday.
doesn't seem like
the
nothing.
Army is
Anything's
made up of
happening.
people.
Shocked. I know.
It's all about connecting
Fucking
with
hell.
people, and people
Ah,
need to come
see-
out and see and connect with the people that are behind these machines.
Also,
and the people that make it work.
I
think the real
I was
tangible
looking at
thing
the
is that
Brago thing.
not everybody
Honestly,
has a large armored formation sitting in their neighborhood.
Holy shit.
They see instead different kinds
For
of
the Abrego
troops and
Garcia
things like
thing,
that, but you'll see,
it doesn't
me
matter
out at
at
Fort
this
Cavazos,
point.
Texas, you get to maybe hear
Trump
it,
lost.
on the range.
All right.
But you don't always get to come out.
They
and
were
see it.
forced to bring him
So,
back and
really
go through the
connecting with
process
audiences
to
and seeing,
charge and arrest him.
these vehicles.
As far as I'm
up close is gonna
concerned,
be, a once-in-a-lifetime
that's it.
opportunity.
Obviously, we'll keep up to date with how that trial
Someone who comes
goes,
up to you
but
and it's like, give me your top 3
the
favorite
broader
facts about
point
this
is
particular vehicle.
Trump fucked around, found out. Now it'd be great if he got charged for it, but they lost. They lost that battle. So I'm gonna put that down as a W for
in combat, actually,
you know,
many years ago in
America.
Iraq. I would say
So,
top favorite things about the
I don't know.
109
What do you
Paladin.
think? Like,
It shoots
you know, if they're
far,
gonna harangue him
moves
on
quick,
trumped
and
up
it sets up even
charges,
quicker. So it's a
that
terrific,
sucks,
advantage
but
on the battlefield.
they're just
Uh,
that
I'll have to
sucks
get back to
that
you
they're
on that,
taking their
but
anger
it's
out on
about-
someone,
It's over 40 tons. I believe.
even if he is a bad hombre. Yeah, I think he may very well be, but it's so far from the point. The Republicans, you can never let them get away with saying, "But look how bad he was. You guys tried to save him." It's
The
like, no, he
emotion
didn't.
that it could elicit, seeing it.
No one
during
ever
the
said.
parade,
Okay,
actually
some people did, but
enacting
like no one
with folks.
was
Never
saying
seen
this
something
is
like
wrong
this
because
big,
he's a
and, you know,
good guy.
just
You
roll
fucked
by
up the
on like a regular
process,
city street.
and now we force you to go through the process. That is a win in my
What
book.
emotions come out is
As far as
pride.
I'm concerned,
In
Abrego
that,
Garcia and that whole debacle,
Army and
one
what the
W
Army does to
in a
protect the
list
nation.
of many
And
ongoing
hopefully,
things, and we should
we'll have
fucking
a
celebrate.
real good, sense
Even
of
if he
just,
is a
what it
bad
takes to
hombre.
put these, vehicles vehicles on the road or out into the field. It takes people. And it's really
yeah, so I'll make a
important to
video
see
about that
What
probably
you'll see
later
is you'll
today.
see a TC and a driver, what we call a tactical vehicle commander.
There it
driver,
is.
And
Yes,
they've
there
got to
it is.
connect, and they've got to talk back and forth to steer a big vehicle like this. It's all about connection. It's all about people, and that's what we do in the Army.
Any other words you'd like
Wait.
to add about when it comes to the festival in particular here, what you're seeing?
Oh,
any
wait.
words that you're
The posse
hearing
come
from
atop.
families, from young kids, from, the environment,
I'm
the
gonna try and
atmosphere,
find
how would you
something.
describe it?
Well, I think the atmosphere here is
Asmund
really electric. I really enjoy
Gold
seeing looks on
Abrego.
people's faces as they get
I'm
the chance
Asmund
to
Gold,
come
and you're my Fox News.
See these
Oh
vehicles
my
and meet these
God.
wonderful
Wow.
soldiers that are out here serving.
Yeah,
and,
I
maybe,
mean,
hopefully inspire some to
they
serve.
really,
Thank you so much for
I mean,
your
he's a
time.
bad guy.
Listen, great to meet you. I think
He's
I'm good.
the left is going crazy about this. Like, Democrat senator crashes out. Oh lord. The story. Let's try this.
Kilmar Albrego
Why
Garcia.
the fuck? Oh, that's why I can't hear shit. Oh, the fucking. Sorry, you guys are hearing protest noise in the background. I didn't realize that was supposed to be muted. Sorry about that. Alright. So, let's do
Was
this.
expedited back to the U.S. and is now facing criminal charges.
Let's see
Is
what
this really
this
true?
genius
Quick
has to say.
context. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who entered the U.S. illegally in 2011, was deported to El Salvador earlier this year due to suspected gang affiliations, his undocumented status, and past domestic abuse.
And I know
He was deported because of his status, which is pseudo legal.
this is a sensitive question, but I have to ask it. You did take out a temporary order of protection against your husband in 2021. Were you in fear of your husband?
Husband is alive. That's all I can say.
Okay, and I'm not going to push on that, apparently.
Announces Kilmar Garcia will be returned to the U.S. after DOJ uncovered that he made over 100 smuggling trips of illegals. That human trafficking was
Charged.
what is
Charged. Not even, like, a grand jury was basically like, I guess there's enough here to start. But they went with, like, 50 different charges. And the minimum one is, like, he was driving a car that an illegal was in. Transporting illegal. That's beside the point. But not when we're looking at Asmongold slop.
Oh my God. So he is coming back to the U.S., but he's coming back to the U.S. to be charged for human smuggling.
The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor.
Man, that is fucking funny. Why? It's funny
Oh my
because these
God.
people turned this guy into a martyr. These people treated him better than they treated their own citizens. You had
You don't even
Congress
have to
people
watch
going
these
all the way
fucks to
down to
know
El
exactly what
Salvador
they're
to
gonna
meet
say.
with this guy, and it turns out that he was a career human trafficker. The media and
It
Democrats
didn't turn out. It's a charge.
pushed
But-
this guy as if he was a loving father whenever he had multiple records of being a wife beater. He's not even a citizen, but he's called Maryland Man.
He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. The grand jury found he made over 100 trips smuggling people throughout our country. Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. Defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. The defendant abused
Wow,
undocumented
look at Ezra's
alien
face.
females, according to co-conspirators. A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor.
Maryland Man.
It's gonna be huge. It's $45 million. It's $45 million parade. It's gonna be the biggest celebration. But we're still gonna treat our veterans like shit. Yep. We're cutting the VA. We're cutting VA staffers. Yeah. So why didn't you charge them until the Dems forced you? Because they don't want to charge. They don't want to have to go through the process. a bajillion dollars to send the military to LA, another gajillion to have a parade. I don't know how much it would cost to go through like a couple $100,000 to charge a guy. Or if you didn't, it would be like just the government doing government shit, which is charging people for crimes, or like as is part of their normal course of business. What's not normal course of business is flying someone to a foreign prison, getting told by the courts like, hey, you got to do this the right way, going to having to get them back, then charging them, and not just trying to get them deported, which they could do, and they'd probably have grounds to do, but also they're like, just because you became the face of, one court case or one like idea of resistance against our bullshit, we're going to try and like sentence you to life and drag you through the mud. Now, if he did all that shit, yeah, obviously he should be charged. He should be like punished for it. But like, yeah. Your skin was burnt off by Humvee battery acid. Yeah, that doesn't sound service related. Oh my god, that's wild. Anyways,
I wonder how that senator's feeling who went all the way down to El Salvador to have dinner with him.
A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother.
It's not, and that's just the end of the clip. I don't even know if that's everything. They defended this guy? Dude, they went to bat for him. They made this guy out to be a fucking martyr.
I mean, shock horror. We didn't even need to watch it. Oh my god, the fucking comments, dude. Lefties. I wish Kilmar was back in the US. Monkey paw, curls feet. Shut up, bruh. Dubious shirt. I don't know. I'm really want to have like a. Is anybody in chat a lawyer? Okay, so let's look at what else. There was the federal judge allows the National Guard. So it was. So Newsom sued Trump. They did end up getting a TRO or a preliminary injunction because it looked like Newsom was going to succeed on the merits, but then a different federal judge or a higher judge said, actually, no, you're not. Okay. Let's see. Appeals court lets Trump keep National Guard in LA. Federal appeals court has preserved President Donald Trump's ability to deploy the National Guard to LA, blocking for at least a few days a judge's order that found the call-up illegal and unconstitutional. 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals blocked U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer's order just hours after he issued it, amid an urgent push from the Trump admin to vindicate Trump. Okay, so let's read this. Oh, yeah, court listener. Oh, you all ready? Yeah, okay, whatever. It doesn't look that long, so. Earlier today, the district court entered a temporary restraining order blocking a decision by President Donald Trump to federalize 4,000 members of the National Guard. Order at 35. As the district court recognized CID at 9/26/2931, the plaintiff, State of California, and Governor Gavin Newsom are likely to succeed in showing that defendants unlawfully. Oh my God! I need to just talk for an hour before I go live. unlawfully federalized the National Guard for deployment in the streets of LA. Plaintiffs have also demonstrated that judicial relief is necessary to prevent irreparable harm to the state, and that the balance of the equities and the public interest support the plaintiffs' request for an injunction. This evening, defendants filed a motion for a stay pending appeal and also sought an administrative stay pending the resolution of that motion. Plaintiffs opposed the request for an administrative stay and asked the court to set an expedited briefing schedule to resolve the motion for a stay pending appeal. We're just going to read this and then I'll try and figure out what the fuck this is like. An administrative stay is unnecessary and unwarranted in light of the district court's extensive reasoning, in particular, its findings of irreparable harm to the state in absence of injunctive relief. There are also serious questions regarding the appellate jurisdiction of this court over defendants' appeal from a temporary restraining order, especially in light of the hearing on the preliminary injunction schedule for Friday, June 20th. Ordinary temporary restraining orders are not appealable interlocutory orders. Wait, what? So it's not appealable? Wait, what? So what the... Okay, unless they're going to do a huge 180. With respect to the defendant's motion for a stay pending appeal, plaintiffs request the opportunity to file a fully reasoned opposition before the court considers granting any form of relief to the defendants. Defendants recently requested and obtained a similar opportunity before the district court. After plaintiffs filed a motion seeking an immediate ex parte restraining order, defendants requested 24 hours to prepare and file an opposition. The district court granted the request. Consistent with that approach, plaintiffs respectfully propose the following expedited briefing schedule for the resolution of defendant's motion for a stay pending appeal. Conclusion: the motion for an immediate administrative stay should be denied. The court should instead oppose an expedited briefing schedule with plaintiffs' opposition to the motion pending a stay. The first stay pending appeal due by... Oh, this isn't what I'm... Okay. So the three-judge panel included Trump appointees Mark Bennett and Eric Miller, as well as Biden appointee Jennifer Sung. They set a Tuesday hearing on the matter, ensuring Trump's deployment will remain in place at least into next week. Sorry. I always got to check over the live feeds over there, see if anything's happening. Would it help to have the feeds labeled? Like the bottom one, you can probably gather what's going on. But the top one, I don't know if that's clear that it's Tel Aviv. I guess, you know, a little bit of context clues you could probably guess, but let me know if that would look better. Anyways. Breyer ruled that the president's deployment to LA amid immigration protests violated the law. The civil unrest accompanying the protests thus fall far short of rebellion, the judge ruled, concluding that Trump's attempt to equate the sporadic violence over the weekend to an organized uprising were specious. I would agree with that. On Saturday, Trump cited a federal statute allowing him to use the National Guard to suppress the danger of rebellion or execute federal laws when regular forces were unable to do so. That's 12406, if I remember correctly. While defendants have pointed to several instances of violence, they have not identified a violent, armed, organized, open and avowed uprising against the government as a whole. Breyer concluded in a 36-page opinion, let's just have that open, the definition of rebellion is unmet. You know what might follow under that definition? An organized group with a plan to overthrow the government as a whole. Oh, man. I thought there was something, but it just doesn't come to mind. Yeah. Also, I'm thinking about making the ticker here show chat rather than like headlines. Or I can, it'd be hard, but I think I can make them like interspersed. Would love to take some opinions on that. Okay, the appeals court short-term block came after an urgent plea from the Trump admin for a ruling before midnight in Washington saying Breyer's decision represented a dangerous affront to Trump's power. Jesus. Maybe interspersed? Okay. Okay. Then, in that case, we gotta find a longer video to watch while I do some coding. The whole chat would be annoying. Vibe coding? Yeah. Well, yeah. Some, what? Oh, no, like programming coding. To alter the feed at the bottom here. Well, I code switch. Hang on. Well, I'll code switch from trying to be a interpreter of primary and secondary sources to React Andy for a little bit. Wow. Yeah, they really are. You know, the left is really just... I am curious to see... Curious, Jesus, how fucking... oh my god. Watch Northern Lion. What is this?
Hello, kazi sunga kongi sangam te yom na te kai dam kim te kiam ni sem chatak lang na panin kong ma ku hi tuni ni anu ta persen kamal na zana tu to ni nan ta la sunga to pan chatak ka te te on pe ya ta hen ji kong chu ge sang na hi.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what he's saying. So maybe, or maybe not. Oh, let's watch the. God, this shit. This I can't do Temple. I can't. We'll do this.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back.
Audio balancing. Holy fuck.
Constitutional crisis averted, days saved. It turns out the Trump administration could get him back whenever they wanted. They were just lying through their teeth. Except that it seems, unfortunately, the Trump administration only brought him back to try him on some very serious federal charges.
Abrego Garcia has landed in the United States to face justice. On May 21st, a grand jury in the middle...
Okay, has anyone, like, asked what is going on with Pam? She... Look. Alright. She does not look well. She has not looked well in a while. She, like...
District of Tennessee returned a sealed...
So, like, it's edited so it looks like he's right behind her. Bam, no!
indictment charging Abrego Garcia with alien smuggling and conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 USC 1324.
Oh. Yes, after months of defying court orders and claiming they just couldn't possibly bring Kilmar back from an Salvadoran torture prison, now the Trump administration is proudly announcing Kilmar's return to U.S. soil so they can pursue human smuggling charges against him. And you know the charges are completely legit because they've rolled out the red carpet, done the media blitz proclaiming that Kilmar is, among other things, a human trafficker, an MS-13 gang member, and even a pedophile now. But this announcement...
Not that the Trump people in the Trump admin don't deserve, like, people being mean to them, but that's not the reason.
Its barrage of unproven smears, and we'll talk about that too, comes just in the nick of time for the administration, which was facing potential sanctions in a Maryland civil case filed by Kilmar and his family. Now, as you may recall, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was born in El Salvador. After being threatened for several years by the Barrio 18 gang, Kilmar fled his home country and joined his brother in Maryland. In 2019, he was picked up in an ICE sting outside of a Hyattsville, Maryland Home Depot. Law enforcement claimed that an informant had identified Kilmar as a member of MS-13, but no actual charges were ever filed, and Kilmar's immigration proceedings resulted not in a deportation, but instead in a withholding of removal order, which, because he had demonstrated a credible fear for his life, barred Kilmar's removal to El Salvador specifically. Now, after his release from immigration detention, Kilmar returned to his life in Maryland, had a child with his wife, helped his wife raise her two other children, and was employed as a sheet metal worker. But on March 12th,
do the fucking... Just, for all you out there, don't give people the opportunity to say, well, you defended this guy, or focus on the issues, all right? The issues are a little more nuanced than good guy, bad guy. I mean, the good guy is more the American, like, legal system, and the bad guy is the Trump admin. But this guy's just, like, the crux of one it's a microcosm of a larger ongoing situation. Don't get roped into saying, no, this guy's completely innocent. The problem is the violation of the court, and now the big W is that they folded to the courts. That's, anyways.
2025, Kilmar was driving home with his 5-year-old son when he was pulled over by immigration officers. They arrested him without explanation and threatened to have social services pick up his son if his wife didn't arrive within 10 minutes. Kilmar was then whisked off to ICE detention and, with no due process whatsoever, was sent for an indefinite stay in a torture prison in El Salvador, the very country a judge had expressly forbidden the U.S. government from sending him to. Kilmar's wife, Jennifer, had no idea where he was until someone sent her a picture of the inmates in El Salvador's notorious CCOT prison, and she recognized her husband in the photo. Now, as we've talked about, CCOT has a well-documented history of human rights abuses, including torture, overcrowding, and death at the hands of guards and other inmates. Yet the Trump administration has putatively paid $6 million in a contract that no one has seen yet to El Salvador to house deportees, including many who had never been convicted of any crime, in CCOT under the watchful eye of Bukele, the dictator of El Salvador. Trump and Bukele both bragged about this arrangement on social media, on the news, and in fact, even in the White House.
How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do?
Yeah, I like how also, like, the insanity of this press conference kind of, it made news at the time, obviously, but it was insane. Like, if you combine the statements they made, it was, what's it say? Bukele saying, what do you want me to do? Smuggle him into the U.S.? And Trump saying, what do you want us to, and Stephen Miller, too, being like, what do you want us to do? Go kidnap him from a foreign country? It's like, so this guy's just in limbo? Like, no. You fucking jackasses.
Trump even publicly raised the possibility of sending Americans, homegrowns as he called them, to CCOT.
We also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country.
And Bukele has seemed excited about the idea of getting paid to violate the rights of American citizens. Meanwhile, Abrego Garcia's wife, Jennifer, filed a suit against the Trump administration. In several court filings, the Trump administration admitted that it had sent Abrego Garcia to El Salvador in error, but the administration still refused to bring Kilmar back. After Maryland federal judge Paula Zenas granted a temporary restraining order directing the Trump administration to, quote, facilitate Kilmar's return, the Trump administration went on the offensive and resurrected a slew of unproven accusations that Abrego Garcia was a member of the MS-13 gang, and even went so far as to Photoshop a picture of Abrego Garcia's hand tattoos with clearly non-original lettering of MS-13. They touted some old restraining orders that his wife had filed against him,
Trump
and most important here, they unearthed
Trump MS-13 tattoos. This video will haunt me.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshop.
In an interview with ABC News on Tuesday, President Donald Trump insisted that the man his administration had mistakenly deported to El Salvador back in March had a gang name tattooed on his hand, despite experts questioning.
Bro, that's Actually.
Otherwise.
But even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well,
over that.
wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
The photo in question.
Like, bro. Yeah, anyways, I know you've all seen this shit, but...
It's a story of a time he'd been pulled over by law enforcement in Tennessee and questioned because he was driving from Texas to Maryland with several other immigrants, and the administration used that stop to imply that Kilmar was a human trafficker. Now, some of those accusations may be true, but we can't be sure which ones because Kilmar was never tried in court. The government has never had to meet its burden of proof, and no judge or jury has ever considered the evidence and made a finding. The administration's accusations were just that, they were accusations, and without due process, there was no way to evaluate their veracity. But in addition to the PR, the Trump administration also appealed Judge Zinus's order to the Supreme Court, which issued a unanimous decision affirming that the administration had to, quote, facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to the United States. Though oddly, Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller apparently read an entirely different Supreme Court decision and declared this a victory for the White House.
In our favor.
In our favor, against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States.
And around that same time, Trump and Bukele, who had a meeting at the White House, had jaunty back and forth talking about how they couldn't possibly return Abrego Garcia to the United States.
The question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But meanwhile, Judge Zinus was growing increasingly weary of these antics and ordered the administration to give regular status updates about what steps it was taking to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return. But the administration did not take this order particularly seriously. The Trump administration filed a series of uninformative so-called status updates, which basically amounted to thumbing their noses at the court. But in response to this recalcitrance, after a contentious hearing, the judge granted the plaintiff's request for expedited discovery. But not surprisingly, the administration immediately appealed, asking for a stay of the judge's discovery order. But the Court of Appeals denied the request for a stay, and the government was left in the uncomfortable position of having to provide Judge Zinus with evidence that it was complying with the law, which it seemed clear they were not. Meanwhile, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen paid Abrego Garcia a visit in El Salvador. But after several characteristically anemic status reports, plaintiffs filed a motion claiming that the Trump administration wasn't engaging in discovery in good faith. Defendants objected to plaintiffs' discovery requests, arguing that the timeline for discovery was too fast. The discovery requests were based on the false premise that the United States can or has been ordered to facilitate Abrego Garcia's release from custody in El Salvador, and claiming that the material was privileged. But the judge wasn't having it and took the Trump administration to task for its continued non-compliance, stating that, quote, defendants and their counsel well know that the falsehood lies not in any supposed premise, but in their continued mischaracterization of the Supreme Court's order. Defendants' objection reflects a willful bad faith refusal to comply with discovery obligations. And she found the defendants' privilege claims equally specious and their complaints about the timeline unconvincing because, quote, for weeks defendants have sought refuge behind vague and unsubstantiated assertions of privilege, using them as a shield to obstruct discovery and evade compliance with this court's orders. But she directed plaintiffs to narrow their interrogatories and ordered defendants to actually answer. Now, over the next month, the parties continued to fight over the scope of the discovery and the adequacy of the Trump administration's responses. But because of the administration's continual recalcitrance in this case, including, according to plaintiffs, discovery deficiencies, consistent delays and refusal to reply properly to interrogatories, plaintiffs asked Judge Zinus permission to file a motion for sanctions. And on June 4th, after months of uncooperative behavior, the judge granted the plaintiffs permission to move forward with their motion for sanctions. Now, meanwhile, the Trump administration tried to get the entire lawsuit dismissed, claiming that Judge Zinus and the Maryland District Court lacked jurisdiction. While that motion to dismiss was still pending and plaintiffs were busy drafting their motion for sanctions, the Trump administration made the surprise announcement that, amazingly, Abrego Garcia had been returned to the United States. Now, if you've been renditioned to a foreign country and then inexplicably brought back to the United States only to face federal charges, you're probably going to want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, my law firm, the Eagle Team, can help. If you've gotten in a car crash, suffered a data breach, especially if you got one of the data breach letters saying that your information might have been leaked, or dealing with a workers' comp or social security issue, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney. And by the way, we don't get paid unless you do, so there's nothing up front. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team. So to the surprise of everyone, in a one-page notice filed with the court on June 6th, the Trump administration informed the court that, quote, on April 4th, 2025, this court ordered defendants to facilitate the return of plaintiff Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia to the United States. Defendants hereby provide notice that they have complied with the court's order and indeed have successfully facilitated Abrego Garcia's return. As the Attorney General recently announced, Abrego Garcia was returned to the United States today to stand trial on criminal charges in the Middle District of Tennessee. So the administration then argued that the judge's order order should be dissolved and the entire case should be dismissed as moot. In the meantime, the administration requested a stay on all case proceedings, including discovery.
I broke it.
So it turns out that despite the Trump administration's repeated protestations and statements to the court, they actually were capable of bringing Abrego Garcia back. Or as the plaintiffs put it in their June 8th motion asking the court to continue to allow discovery and potential sanctions, quote, two things are now crystal clear. First, the government has always had the ability to return Abrego Garcia, but it simply refused to do so. Second, the government has conducted a determined stalling campaign to stave off contempt sanctions long enough to concoct a politically face-saving exit from its own predicament. And obviously the face-saving exit the plaintiffs are referring to is the Trump administration's decision to bring Abrego Garcia back to the United States, but only after the Department of Justice had indicted him for charges relating to a 2022 traffic stop in Tennessee. So let's talk about that incident. Here's what we know so far. On December 1st, 2022, Abrego Garcia was pulled over for speeding in a vehicle with 8 passengers and told police that he had come from Texas several days earlier and were traveling to Maryland to do construction work. The police officers who stopped him speculated that he might be transporting people for money because there was no luggage in the vehicle, but they decided not to ticket or charge Abrego Garcia. Instead, they sent him on with a warning. And so it's this incident that appears to form the basis of the federal charges that have been filed against Abrego Garcia. And on June 6th, we finally learned what those were when the Trump Department of Justice asked for the unsealing of a shocking May 21st grand jury indictment against Abrego Garcia. So first a note on grand juries. A grand jury trial is not a regular criminal trial. It is, in most criminal cases, the precursor to a criminal trial, during which the prosecutor presents a group of randomly selected jurors with the prosecutor's potential arguments against a defendant. It's how the charges get formalized. In an actual criminal trial, the defendant would have an attorney, an opportunity to present witnesses and arguments in their defense, and the ability to confront the witnesses against them. But in a grand jury proceeding, the defendant and his attorneys cannot be present to refute or even hear the evidence or witness testimony. And grand juries can also consider evidence like hearsay that would not be admissible in a criminal trial. In a criminal trial, the prosecution must prove beyond reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. And in a grand jury trial, the prosecutor must only prove that there is probable cause to believe that a crime has been committed and that the person being investigated was the person who committed it. And obviously, grand juries do not convict people. They simply recommend whether a prosecutor should launch a criminal trial against that person. And grand jury proceedings are not adversarial proceedings where both sides can present evidence. They are one-sided proceedings where only the prosecutor gets to present their case, which is why grand juries have often been criticized as a rubber stamp for prosecutors. But sometimes, as is the case here, a grand jury says there's not even enough evidence for one particular charge or others. And that acts as a sort of veto against the charges even before a case has been filed. And in this previously sealed grand jury indictment, the Department of Justice alleged that Abrego Garcia's 2022 trip through Tennessee was one of more than 100 human trafficking trips that Abrego Garcia made as part of a years-long conspiracy. Now, obviously, anytime we deal with an indictment, these are merely accusations from the government. They are so far unproven. But according to the government's filings in the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Tennessee, the government alleges from 2016 to 2025, Abrego Garcia conspired with several other unnamed non-citizens to transport thousands of undocumented immigrants from South and Central American countries into the United States. The government alleges that Abrego Garcia's co-conspirators helped the immigrants illegally cross the border into Texas. Then Abrego Garcia and other drivers were paid to transport the undocumented immigrants to other parts of the United States. And according to the indictment, both Abrego Garcia and many of the people he transported were members of the MS-13 gang. The government is also alleging that Abrego Garcia and his co-conspirators transported people, including children, in unsafe ways in makeshift seats and in the floors of vehicles, and that Abrego Garcia himself had abused some of the women he had transported. And the indictment also mentioned that one of Abrego Garcia's supposed co-conspirators was involved in a 2021 incident where a tractor trailer carrying migrants overturned in Mexico and caused more than 50 deaths. And based on these allegations, the government indicted Abrego Garcia on 2 counts from 8 U.S.C. 1324, conspiracy to transport aliens and unlawful transportation of undocumented aliens. The first section creates criminal liability for anyone who, quote, knowing or in reckless disregard of the fact that an alien has come to, entered, or remains in the United States in violation of law, transports or moves or attempts to transport or move such alien within the United States by means of transportation or otherwise in furtherance of such violation of law. So to make its case, the DOJ will have to prove that Abrego Garcia transported or attempted to transport illegal aliens within the United States, and also that he either knew or recklessly disregarded the fact that they were in the United States illegally. Now, in the indictment, the government highlighted the fact that Abrego...
Okay. So just, does this mean that, like, if anyone driving Uber happens to drive someone, like, who's here illegally, he can be charged with some shit.
Garcia supposedly received compensation for this work. As Pam Bondi has claimed, it was his, quote, full-time job. The DOJ is probably emphasizing the financial aspects of the accusations because under the law, if Abrego Garcia was financially compensated for transporting undocumented immigrants, that would allow the prosecution to pursue a stiffer sentence. Now, we don't yet know what evidence the government has in support of these allegations. We'll have to reserve judgment until we see that evidence. But I will say, it is awfully convenient that they've suddenly found all of these horrendous accusations relating to the seemingly random guy that just became the flashpoint for this entire international snafu. Which leads me to be more than a little skeptical about these accusations. Now, the Trump DOJ has also filed a motion for detention, asking the court to hold Abrego Garcia in pretrial custody instead of releasing him on bail pending trial. In support of that argument that Abrego Garcia is a danger to the community and should not be released, the government dropped a few more bombs in both its motion and Attorney General Pam Bondi's announcement, which are not part of the indictment, claiming that Abrego Garcia had also transported firearms and drugs, that he was responsible for the murder of a rival gang member's mother in El Salvador, and that he solicited naked pictures from a minor. But Abrego Garcia has not been indicted on either of those claims, no evidence has been offered to support them, and not even the grand jury considered them. Now, putting aside the salaciousness of these new allegations, it's worth mentioning just how unbelievably improper it is for the sitting attorney general to make these prejudicial statements about a criminal defendant who is actively being prosecuted by the Department of Justice. The Trump administration's campaign to smear Abrego Garcia in the media is itself a breach of norms and potentially prosecutorial ethics. In the past, federal, state, and local prosecutors from both political parties have generally only publicly accused defendants of crimes for which a grand jury indicted them. Discussing other potential crimes has long been regarded as an abuse of prosecutorial power, risking obvious unfair harm to defendants' reputations. And according to NBC News, a former senior Justice Department official who requested anonymity citing fears of retaliation said that Bondi often speaks as a partisan Trump loyalist, not as a neutral law enforcement officer. Yeah, dude, we have TVs and eyes. We can see it. But additionally, according to an ABC News report, concerns about the Trump administration's behavior in the Abrego Garcia case may have led to the resignation of Ben Schrader, the chief of the criminal division of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Nashville. Sources briefed on Schrader's decision told ABC News that Schrader's resignation was prompted by concerns that the case against Abrego Garcia was being pursued for political reasons. Mr. Schrader did not directly address the speculation, but in a pointed LinkedIn post, he stated, quote, "Earlier today, after nearly 15 years as an assistant U.S. attorney, I resigned as chief of the criminal division at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Tennessee. It has been an incredible privilege to serve as a prosecutor with the Department of Justice, where the only job description I've ever known is to do the right thing in the right way for the right reasons." So yet again, a career prosecutor with the DOJ resigned rather than move forward with these criminal charges. So I think at this point we can move from being skeptical about the government's charges against Abrego Garcia to just assuming that they're BS. But still, at least this time he's getting due process. A jury will decide whether the charges against him actually stand up in a criminal court. But already there appeared to be some factual disputes in the government's findings, including inconsistent statements about whether Abrego Garcia told Tennessee police that he was coming from Missouri or Texas. None of these supposed witnesses mentioned in the indictment are named. Many of them appear to be convicted criminals who may have had incentives to be jailhouse informants. And an ABC News report indicates that one of the informants is currently serving a sentence in Alabama for illegally re-entering the United States. All of these factors will have to be considered by an actual jury. And all these witnesses will have to be available for cross-examination and scrutiny. Though, as Abrego Garcia's attorney has pointed out, this still isn't true justice because, quote, "True justice means the chance to defend yourself before you're punished, not after." Meanwhile, President Trump has claimed that he thinks the administration has, quote, "a very easy case against Abrego Garcia," which sort of raises the question, if it was so easy, why not prosecute him earlier instead of making the politically controversial and unconstitutional decision to whisk him off to a torture prison without due process? And for the time being, the case before Judge Zenas is still alive. The plaintiffs have asked the judge to continue to hold on to her jurisdiction over the case, to order discovery against the Trump administration, and to consider their motion for sanctions. And regardless of the outcome of Abrego Garcia's criminal trial and civil case, the constitutional problems still remain because dozens of other men are still being held in the Salvadoran torture prison without trial or recourse. As Representative Jamie Raskin pointed out, quote, "They obviously want to make this about whether or not he ends up being a good guy or a bad guy, but it's not a moral question. It's a legal question. It's a constitutional question of whether the government can pick people up and take them out of the country." So yeah, that's why it's probably a good idea to scrub as much of your personal information off the internet as possible, which you can do with today's sponsor, Incogni. Because Incogni removes your personal data from online data brokers by reaching out directly and forcing them to take your personal info down. If these data brokers resist, Incogni will take care of that too, because Incogni fights back. And use my link in the description or the code LegalEagle for an exclusive 60% off discount. And Incogni just launched a new feature called Custom Removals for subscribers to their unlimited plan that I think is really great. It allows you to flag an unlimited number of sites where your data is exposed, and you can even have Incogni's privacy experts review and tackle the most uncooperative data brokers and people's search sites. Because these data brokers are the reason why in the US you can search your name and find a bunch of websites that will give anyone your home address, phone number, and extensive history. It's shocking just how easy it is to find all this information. It also might be why you're getting so many scam calls lately, or even how someone might steal your identity. But Incogni is a great way to take back control of your data, increase your online privacy, and cut down on those annoying scam calls and emails that used to flood my voicemail and inbox. Now, I've been using Incogni for years, and in that time you can see I've been on hundreds of lists, some of which had a high sensitivity score, meaning the broker had tons of data on me. Luckily, Incogni has completed hundreds of takedowns for me over the years and is processing dozens of others. If I were to try this myself, it would take weeks. So thanks Incogni for saving me hundreds of hours and adding me to over 40 suppression lists. And Incogni will continue to conduct ongoing removals because even if the data broker removes your data once, they can collect it again. So Incogni makes sure that your personal information stays off the market for good. So if online privacy is important to you, give Incogni a try. If you click on the link on screen or down below, you can try Incogni risk-free for 30 days and get a full refund if you're not into it. And if you do decide to keep it, you'll still get the exclusive 60% off discount so long as you use my link or the code LegalEagle, all one word, at checkout. So after that, click on this link over here for more Legal Eagle, or I'll see you in court.
Okay, let's get back to just double check, see if anything's evolving. Trump told Putin in a call that his envoy is ready to resume nuclear talks. That's fun. What the fuck? All right, I'll give up on this for now, but this will be an ongoing fight. Is there anything happening with the No Kings protests? Trump. No Kings. Does anything come of this? Like, at all? Has he made a statement? Or actually, here's what we should do. We should go on Truth Social. And do some dailies. Okay, a great military parade is on. Rain or shine, remember, a rainy day parade brings good luck? Is that... Has anyone ever said that? Ever? You want some za? Then order some za. Wait, are you talking... What kind of... You're talking... No, that's what I meant. Yeah, okay. I mean, shit. You got Uber reindeer over there, right? Uber. Or no, wait, Uber. No, Uber's a German word. Uber? Uber Eats? Something like that. I don't know what you Swedes sound like. This truth was fucking unhinged. Uber. I don't know. I gave Iran a chance. After chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words, just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. I told them it would be much, much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told that the United States makes by far the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world. By far. And that Israel has a lot of it. Did parade start? Yeah. You can see it up here in the The live feed. Bingo. Fucking. Whatever. So, I'll dick around. Is top Israel? Yeah, it's Tel Aviv. Yeah, so I was watching it yesterday. I clicked onto it, and then just bam, like 10 minutes later, missiles started falling, and I was just like, I that fucking rocked my shit. Okay, let's not read the rest of the comments under Trump's Truth Social shit, because that's always not fun. Okay, so it doesn't seem like there's anything new here. Oh, actually, wait, hold on. Netanyahu. I don't know, I don't know whether or not to do, what, isn't there a new one? No? Am I stupid? Oh, it's on X, the everything app. Netanyahu. BB.
By wishing a double happy birthday. First, happy birthday to you, President Donald J. Trump.
Oh, boy.
You've been an extraordinary leader. Decisive, courageous, clear vision, clear action. You have done great things for Israel. You've been an extraordinary friend to the Jewish state and to me personally. We've known each other for many years, and we appreciate what you're doing now, helping protect Israeli lives against the criminal regime in Iran. I want to wish also a 250th
What?
happy birthday to the American Army. The men and women of the armed services of the United States have protected freedom for 2.5 centuries. We would not have a free world without you. Thank you on behalf of free peoples everywhere. Today, Israel is defending freedom in the Middle East and beyond. We're doing so against a tyrannical and radical Iranian regime.
We just pumped up to 60
that wants
FPS.
to build atomic bombs to destroy us and wants to build ballistic missiles, including intercontinental ballistic missile, to be able to threaten anyone and everywhere in the world.
Seconds.
By defending ourselves, we're also defending others. We're defending our Arab neighbors, our Arab friends in peace.
Do what you're doing.
Europe, we're helping defend also the United States, which helps us all the time in our defense. This is an important mission. Right now, the Iranian regime is bombing our civilian neighborhoods while we are targeting the terrorists. Now, this is not new. They've tried to assassinate President Trump twice.
They did. Well, again, I'm not rooting for Iran. Or, like, you'll never guess what my fucking position is. I don't know why the fuck they preemptively attacked, but a lot of uranium is pretty scary. The regime in Iran is not good. And this is unnecessarily hawkish, I think. That's my cursory glance at all this shit. But
they bombed American embassies. They killed 241 Marines in Beirut. They killed and injured thousands of Americans with their IEDs in Iraq and Afghanistan. They burn the American flag. They chant endlessly, "Death to America." Our enemy is your enemy. And by doing what we're doing, we're dealing with something that will threaten all of us sooner or later. Our victory will be your victory. How do we intend to achieve that victory? Well, we've already done great things. We've taken out their senior military leadership. We've taken out their senior technologists who are leading the race to build atomic weapons that would threaten us, but not only us. We've done all that and many other things, but we are also aware of the fact that there's more to be done. So we're preparing. We paved the way to Tehran, and our pilots over the skies of Tehran will deal blows to the Ayatollah regime that they cannot even imagine. And I can tell you this, we have indications that senior leaders in Iran are already packing their bags. They sense what's coming. I'll tell you what would have come if we hadn't acted. We had information that this unscrupulous regime was planning to give the nuclear weapons that they would develop.
Like how Marco Rubio's first reaction was, we didn't sanction this, we didn't do this, we had nothing to do with this.
To their terrorist proxies. That's nuclear terrorism on steroids. That would threaten the entire world. This is what Israel is doing with the support, the clear support of the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and the American people, and many others in the world. So with God's help, and with the goodwill and resolution of all free societies.
I don't know about that one. Trump comments. Iran. Then always got to be refreshing. I want to use the API for this, but it costs $150 a month. Oh, I'm going to need to get a little bit bigger before I can do that, but we'll get there. We got a funny guy. Someone has bruh as one of their signs. You're talking to the speedrun.com mods to add Project Hardline speedrunning maps? Bro. That's good. What's this?
Well, to me, Senator, you know more than I do, but my sources were
God damn.
Very clear. The enrichment level was too great. The breakout time was less than a month. They would have the 15 nuclear weapons. The Israelis are not lying about it. And I have to believe those people that believe in a caliphate, convert or die, and threaten to wipe Israel and the U.S. off the map, based on also being the #1 state sponsor of terror. If they got the weapon, they'd use it. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're absolutely right. I believe this was inevitable, and it was rendered more inevitable today by decisions of the Ayatollah in Iran. Listen, President Trump has been clear for a long time that his red line is that Iran must completely dismantle their nuclear capacity, must disassemble their nuclear centrifuges where they are enriching uranium. And President Trump made clear they could either do so peacefully through diplomacy, or those centrifuges would be dismantled kinetically through military conflict. We're seeing the latter tonight. And this morning, Iran publicly stated no, they would not dismantle their centrifuges. And in fact, they said they would build more, they would enrich more. The Ayatollah made the decision, we are going to plunge headfirst towards getting a nuclear weapon. And basically, Iran gave the middle finger to President Trump, and Iran told Israel, you better strike us now, because if you don't do it soon, we will have a nuclear weapon. And when we have a nuclear weapon, this is a theocratic zealot who chants death to America and death to Israel, and they are building a nuclear weapon.
I've watched more Fox in the last week and a half than I ever hoped to in my entire fucking life. And that's like 10 minutes worth of Fox, probably, combined. Okay, so one of the feeds just got cut. So let's see. Sorry, that's not a very good looking face there. Oh, we got an interview with one of the protesters. Hold on, let me unmute the audio for this.
We've got no kings here. here. We've got no queens here. We've got no emperors. We've got no titles of nobility.
Never mind, you cannot hear dick. Other than exactly what you'd expect. So, my apologies, everyone. Alright, let's get... What was the... Well, actually, first of all, what percent enrichment does uranium need for a bomb? Is that even close to what the right question is? So then, so it doesn't matter. So, what is Iran enriched uranium? Is this like, is this Googleable stuff? Am I going to hell for Googling this? Scientific American? Do we trust this? I don't fucking know. In the okay, whatever. I don't need the narrative. I just want, why did the strike occur now? One consideration could involve the way enrichment complexes work. Natural uranium is composed almost entirely of uranium-238, an isotope that is relatively heavy. That means it has more neutrons in its nucleus. So U-235 is the bombaclat uranium. Okay. So, do we have any estimates on how much they had? I'm not fully crafted on what my narrative is on this yet, but it is helpful to know if they have. Okay, I get kind of how it works. Already holds roughly 400 kilograms, so is this... Okay. So 400 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, so 400 times 0.6, so what, they got 240 kgs of uranium-235, and... How much? Just, dude, doing political stream this day and age, I'm Googling like Hezbollah, Hamas, history of Al Qaeda, like, how much uranium do you need for a nuclear bomb? Oh, brother. This amount was enriched to... So, like, roughly, they've got enough. Israel was saying they had, like... Here, I'll just show you the propaganda video, actually. It's kind of wild. To be sure. I think it was from the IDF? Not the IDK. Yeah, they've been making some propaganda videos. Where was this one I saw yesterday? Because I've been... Is this it?
جنگ ما محلی نیست. ما برای
No, this is not it. Oh. Sorry, it's the most insane fucking looking video. Sorry, bear with me while I find this. It's no matter what your opinion on the matter is, it's wild that they're doing edits. Oh, like, Iran's making edits. Shit, it might not have been the IDF. Damn it. Fuck. Sorry. Does anyone know the video I'm talking about? It is in some Twitter account.
Arsenal for years.
Their 2,000-kilometer missiles can strike
25 minutes ago. No. Fuck.
Oil. The West killers, and it was less.
No. They did like 3D animations. They had lighting and all this. Oh, here it is.
A military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists.
Oh, my connection drop? I thought my bitrate was okay.
Working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan. Never again is now. Today, Israel has shown that we have learned the lessons of history. When enemies vow to destroy you, believe them. When enemies build weapons of mass death, stop them. As the Bible teaches us, when someone comes to kill you, rise and act first.
Is that in the Bible? Anyways, so that's the propaganda video they made, and then Iranian military. Fuck, there was one too. Shit, where's they had an edit as well. Hearts and minds, people, or something like that. They think this guy posted it. Like, Jesus. Okay, hold on. I gotta be. Let's way the fuck back. Come on. Jesus, this guy's been up all day posting shit. Also, I gotta keep looking over at Tel Aviv to see if shit's happening. Fuck, man. Hold on. Sorry, I should have had this up before. I just, I guess we'll go Iran military edit. It's like a video. Yeah. This is it. As tragic as this conflict could turn out, they're making edits against each other, which is dumb. Oh, we got a gamer in Tel Aviv. If you can see, near the bottom left-ish corner, there's someone with an RGB light strobe in the Tel Aviv stream. Look, Mom, I'm on the news. Hot take, hit me. I hate RGB lights. That's fair. I can definitely understand that position. But have you considered I have no idea if this will show up on stream at all. Well, that's okay. So I turn my lights on from my phone. I don't think it doesn't show shit. Everybody use the furnace. Purple, blue. It's very faint. But the red, I guess, shows a tiny bit. Do a cooler background. Do the red. Make it look more serious and threatening. I'm just receiving reports that there is a new Beedly video that just dropped. So Israel, Iran are going to have to put their differences aside and go subscribe to the #1 Minecraft YouTube Shorts creator in the world. I just got a notification on my phone. Where's the fucking audio?
You guys chose the furnace because
why'd I just get the notification?
Let me know what you guys want in the comments below and subscribe to
everyone. Go leave a comment on what the next best Minecraft block is. Shut up. Whoa. All right. I'm thinking, in light of today's events and yesterday's events, TNT. Yeah, that guy was so rude. What the TNT because it's made of TNT. Perfect. My chat is not the forum to vote. I should include clips. No, dude. Oh my god. That no, we're Northern Lion respecters. We do +2 in this chat, not +1. What the fuck? This guy's climbing some shit. They brought a rock wall. +1 and +2 are just like agree or funny or yeah. It's just like a like a Santa Claus type beat. All right, let me get. Thanks, Nightbot. Yeah, remember to thank our lovely Nightbot. See if we can get something else going on here. I agree. You should add that. What do you mean? Oh yes, I see. Don't. I got it. Jesus. There was this unhinged Florida police warning to protesters. This was fucking crazy.
I'll start out by addressing the doxing issue that we were talking about. Our ICE agents, just like our Florida Highway Patrol, are our partners. We all ride together in this. We all
speak up.
Are out here to make sure that we're protecting our citizens, protecting our communities. Many of them have been called to the border. Many of them have been called to other locations to deal with the amount of fugitives and things that are going on, detainers. So for us, we will have their back. We will work closely with Colonel Howes and his team in making sure that we're increasing patrol, we're watching them. Anybody that's doxing them, as the General said, we passed a law about 4 or 5 years ago that makes it illegal to dox here in the state of Florida. So anybody that's doing that, we will take them to full task on doing it. We will stand with you. I want to define.
Is there any legislation around swatting?
Our general was very kind in how he said things. I'm not as usually as elegant in how I say things. So I'm gonna first say that peaceful protests are part of our democracy. We invite people to share their opinions. That's what our country is all about. The key word in that is peaceful. And if it's peaceful, us in law enforcement are going to make sure you have a safe environment to do it in. That's part of that process. If you let it turn violent, you do not want to do that in Brevard County. I'm going to tell you that, and I believe I can speak for my fellow sheriffs around the rest of the state. You don't want to let it happen.
Connor's
And
now
just so
playing
there's no
Project
confusion,
Hardline.
because I don't want to hear any whining later saying we didn't know. I'm going to break it down for you, all right? Because as you watch these riots unfold across the rest of the country, what you are seeing is buildings being burned down, police cars being bricked, having explosive devices thrown on them, having fire, guns pointed at them, bricks thrown at them, on and on. So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail.
Jesus.
If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop.
Hot take, this is not nearly as dramatic as people made it out to be. Like,
we will be notifying your family where to collect our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
Yeah,
we're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that
not
are being
nearly
attacked,
as
being spit on.
like, it's not hinged at all. It's like, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, he's just like, he wants to get down and dirty, it sounds like, or he likes the thought of getting down and dirty. I don't know if this gentleman is really physically apt enough to get down in the rough and tumble, but having that one clip of "we will kill you graveyard dead," but having that out of context sounds really, really bad. Saying like, look, if you throw a brick at us or a firebomb or point a gun at us, we'll kill you. That's like, I don't know if it needs to be said. It should be evident, I guess. But, okay, people made this to be way more.
Being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order. Not here, not in the state of Florida. So, to make it real simple, if you don't want to have any of those things happen to you, obey the law. Go
Okay. That Big Nothing Burger. Cool. Broward County Sheriff's Office. What else we got?
I recognize Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to the unofficial 2028 Democrat presidential primary right here on stage at the Oversight Committee. Governor Newsom must be seething.
Is it real? Do they think they're going to lose if they say Democratic? I know it's not like a major issue to like get upset about, but Republican, Democratic, like Democrat. It's just, I'm not gonna lie, it's getting under my skin a little bit. It's supposed to rise above it, but we're the Democratic Party, not the Democrat Party.
The three of you beat him to the stage, but he's a little busy.
I will make this nothing burger into massive chud content, all right?
Right now, defending illegals and defending Antifa, torching what is left of Los Angeles. Governor Walz knows the playbook. In 2020, he rolled out the red carpet for anarchists while Minnesotans watched their neighborhoods burn. You've turned your states into sanctuaries for illegals. You've done more to shield MS-13 than to protect the single mom working 2 jobs in Chicago, Queens, or Minneapolis.
LA is
and you've worked
just
harder
fine
against ICE than with them. So Governor Walz, and boy, does that feel nice to say the word governor.
I know.
My first question is for you. Did you know the Nazis killed 6 million Jews during the Holocaust? It's a yes or no question. Did you know the Nazis killed 6 million Jews during the Holocaust?
Pushing my button to
Okay.
answer. Yes, I believe that's historic.
Okay, would you agree the Holocaust is the most horrific atrocity in human history? Yes or no?
I think the Holocaust ranks amongst them, yes.
Did you know the Nazi Gestapo imprisoned, tortured, and murdered Jews by the hundreds of thousands and committed genocide against the Jews?
Jeez.
Did you know that?
I do know they operated as secret.
Did you know ICE has done none of that? Yes or no?
Operated as a secret police force?
No, that's not the question. Did you know that ICE has not committed genocide against anyone?
Yes, I do know that.
Okay.
Operated as a secret police.
Yes.
Sorry, I just it works. Like the statement works either way. It's just funny that she said suicide twice. That's
yes or no?
Operated as a secret police force.
Jews. Did you know that?
I do know they operated as secret.
Did you know ICE has done none of that? Yes or no?
Operated as a secret police force?
No, that's not the question. Did you know that ICE has not committed genocide against anyone?
Yes, I do know that.
Okay. Do you apologize for your disgusting comparison of ICE to the Gestapo, who killed hundreds of thousands of Jews during the Holocaust?
As a history teacher.
Yes or no is the question.
A historical
You're a
comparison.
governor. You understand what the question is. It's yes or no. Will you apologize for what you said about ICE, comparing them to Gestapo?
To identify who they are when they operate, to not use unmarked.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, this governor, or honorable, can't answer the question. Do you believe the Nuremberg trials were a good exercise in holding the Nazis accountable? Yes or no?
I think due process.
Okay, so are you calling for ICE agents to be brought to a tribunal under the threat of death by comparing them to the Gestapo?
Everyone is afforded due process.
What don't you understand about yes or no? Like, what can't you comprehend about yes or no questions? Do you still want to abolish ICE? Do you still want to abolish ICE?
I like the fucking title of this one too. Oh, fuck, I guess I get print screen. Sorry. I like the fucking title of this one too. It is the Fox recording of it, so obviously it's going to be a little unhinged. Chaos unfolds after Waltz grilled on ICE Gestapo remarks. Anyone who has between 2 to 3 brain cells and up watching this is like, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious what he meant. They're just like comparison between the tactics used. But, you know, if you don't fall in that range, vote MAGA, then
yes or no?
I suppose this is a big
Didn't you march in a rally calling for ICE's abolishment?
Not that I can recall, Congressman.
Well, according to widespread media reports, you did.
And the media is always correct.
How do you rate Kamala Harris's job as border czar? I want a number between 1 and 10. How was she as border czar?
I wouldn't have a way to measure that. I was not in the administration.
Weren't you her running mate for vice president?
As in the campaign.
And you
Wasn't part of
can't
the
rate her role as border czar on a scale of 1 to 10. Was she great at 10 or was she a 1? Terrible.
I think her proposal that she put forward to make sure we had the bipartisan immigration.
It wasn't bipartisan. Did you ever personally speak with Kamala about Joe Biden's cognitive collapse?
Not that I can recall, Congressman.
Not as her running mate for vice president. You never once talked to her about the president and why she was nominated instead of him.
No, not that I can recall.
What kind of operation were you guys running over there?
I was more concerned with Donald Trump's cognitive
Thank God he's
things that we were-
he's president and J.D. Vance is vice president and not you. Have you ever served in a combat zone, Governor?
I have not, Congresswoman.
Okay. Are you still friends with school shooters?
I have never been a friend with a school shooter.
Didn't you say you were friends with school shooters on the debate stage?
Oh, Congresswoman.
Yeah.
I
Is
think that's very
bullying
evident.
is
As a teacher and a
bullying
parent.
is my mom was a teacher. I'm a high school dropout. We
It's
can talk
funny
about
she's
that later.
like trying to get him on one misspeak that was a very obvious misspeak. She just said Jewicide twice. Like, people misspeak. Why harp on this shit? I mean, I know why, but
Is bullying okay?
Is bullying okay as a teacher?
Is bullying okay? Yes or no? Is it okay to bully somebody?
I think
yes
there's
or
a
no?
time to push back at a bully. So yes, I do think there's a time.
So you think it's okay to bully others?
I think it's okay to bully the bully at times.
Well, you're showing that the Democrat Party is a party of violence. Were you at Tiananmen Square?
Have I been to Tiananmen Square? I have.
Were you at Tiananmen Square?
I have been at Tiananmen Square.
When were you there?
Oh, as I recall.
bro, it's okay. Whatever. Is this just a fucking
January?
This is just the vice presidential debate all over again, but without JD being a wet napkin there. Okay, well that's fucking nothing. Oh, let's see what's up in Minnesota.
Boulevard, all of those beautiful marchers.
Oh boy. Oof. I'm just telling you, whenever there's a live event going on, do not open YouTube chat. You will be blackpilled on the state of this world beyond belief. It is the most depressing thing to read. All the time. Ah, yes, A Handmaid's Tale. That's probably copyright. Omega Nothing Burger here.
Time, please. Hi, Ken. Good morning. Police Chief Mark Bruley, Brooklyn Park Police Department. The question is, how did we get to Representative Portman's house, and it was proactively or not? The circumstances that unfolded in Brooklyn Park this morning is that we assisted the Champlain Police Department on a shooting. That shooting was made aware by one of our sergeants that it was at Senator Hoffman's home. In hearing that very intuitive sergeant asked our officers to go check on Melissa Hortman's home, the representative that lives in our community, just proactively as due diligence to swing by. That police officer and his partner pulled down the street when they arrived at Melissa's house. They noticed that there was a police vehicle in the driveway with the lights, emergency lights on.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm just receiving reports. There's a new White House video that just dropped. Oh, God. It's called God Bless Our Troops. What? Is it a short? Where the fuck? Where did this video come from? I just got a notification about it. It is a short. What the fuck? How old is this? Oh, it's ancient. What the fuck? Okay, never mind.
And what appeared to be a police officer at the door coming out of the house. When our officers confronted him, the individual immediately fired upon the officers, who exchanged gunfire, and the suspect retreated back into the home.
Was this an actual police officer or impersonating a police officer?
Yes, the question is, was it a real person or a person impersonating a police officer? It was not a real police officer. This is somebody that clearly had been impersonating a police officer, again, using the trust of this badge and this uniform to manipulate their way into the home.
So particularly janitorial care 11, the person not only was wearing a badge, posing as a police officer, when they approached their victims, they had a car with lights and sirens?
Yes, the question is, what kind of vehicle and how were they dressed? They did drive a vehicle that looked exactly like an SUV squad car. It was equipped with lights, emergency lights that looked exactly like a police vehicle. And yes, they were wearing a vest with taser, other equipment that would, a badge very similar to mine, that no question, if they were in this room, you would assume that they are a police officer.
Chief really
And they weren't like former police or anything like
the
that.
moments after that played out? You said the person went into the home, and then can you help us understand the next 10-15 minutes of how we got to the point we're at now?
Yeah, briefly, although I'm just going to remind us that this is an absolutely active investigation. We have thousands of people sheltered in place in the city of Brooklyn Park right now. We are in an extensive manhunt involving hundreds and hundreds of police officers and SWAT teams searching, gridding off areas as we believe confidently the suspect had fled out the back of the house after being confronted by the police. Very briefly, after the officers had exchanged gunfire and the suspect retreated into Melissa's home, they immediately went up to the threshold and looked in and seen a male that was down, clearly had been struck by gunfire. They made limited penetration, grabbed a hold of the male and drug him out to safety to attempt first aid. However, he was pronounced dead shortly after that. At that point, the officers surrounded the house, got additional resources and SWAT resources.
Is there any...
and then ultimately went in with a drone.
So they have a list. The suspect, they've identified one apparently. It's this a 57-year-old man. So if you're in Minnesota, I guess, I don't know. And they said he had a list of politicians. Is that public yet?
Female in the home.
How far apart are the two scenes?
Okay. Ye supported Diddy at trial.
I would say, yeah, somewhere around 5 or 6 miles apart.
How much do you know about did the person that was impersonating an officer who allegedly shot these people, did they knock on the door and people came to the door, or did the person break into the home?
Yeah, it was knocking on the door and asking the person to come out, absolutely impersonating a police officer.
Do you all have the suspect's car?
We do have the suspect's car. Suspect is on foot. That is what the large-scale search is currently going on. I just remind residents of Brooklyn Park, I know it's been a long time, but those that are in the grid that we gave the alert out to continue to shelter in place. We're also reminding them that if somebody comes to the door and they knock on the door and claiming to be a police officer, please do a couple of things. One, call 911 and confirm that the officer belongs there. If they are a police officer, dispatch will be able to confirm that that person is a police officer. Also, we've informed all our officers in Brooklyn Park that they are not to approach anybody by themselves. They're to approach in pairs, meaning 2 officers. So if there's only 1 officer outside the door, do not answer the door and call 911. If it's a Brooklyn Park police officer or any of our partners that are assisting.
Hold on, sorry. Sidebar. Top left, there's people playing fetch with a robot dog. 2 robot dogs at the No Kings protest. Okay. So wait, when is the military parade?
They will come in pairs of 2 or more.
Do you know if the gunman detained someone?
I'm sorry, 1 at a time.
Do you know if the gunman said anything, like when he knocked on the door, did he say anything to like Senator Hoffman or anything, you know?
We do know that he did, but I'm going to hold that back as part of the investigation right now.
You guys did
Okay, so the military parade starts in a couple hours.
This is a very large-scale search, so we have detained several people and questioned them, but we do not have anybody in custody at this time.
I know you may not want to identify that person publicly, but have you privately identified the suspect?
We have people of interest that we are looking for.
Michelle Griffith, Minnesota Reformer. Other than that, these are 2 Democratic lawmakers. Is there anything else to suggest that this is politically motivated?
Wait, IDF resumed striking targets in Iraq.
Again, I'm going to hold back most of the information. This is part of the investigation that we completed. This is rapidly evolving, just occurred a few hours ago, and we're trying to sort it out. We have partners from the FBI, the BCA, the Henry County Sheriff's Office, and almost every suburban agency in our community helping us with this. So it's very complex and working on it. What I will tell you, when we did a search of the vehicle, there wasn't a manifesto that identified many lawmakers and other officials. We immediately made alerts to the state who took action on alerting them and providing security where necessary. And that's about, I'll stop there.
Chief, thank you very much. We're going to take one more question.
With the BCA, can I ask you use the word targeted, and that's kind of along the lines of Michelle's question in terms of politics, Democratic politics. These are both Democratic lawmakers. You said the word targeted. So targeted because they're politicians, or targeted because they're
so the question is were they targeted, and when I use the term, why am I using the term? As Chief Bruley noted, there was a list of individuals, and the individuals that were targeted in this situation were on that list. And so when we're looking at that, as Chief Bruley said, it's far too early in the investigation to be able to provide information, but I do think we'll be in a position where we'll be able to develop the motivation behind these attacks, and we'll be able to provide more information as this unfolds. And so that's part of the reason we're using it, is I think there's some preliminary information that is telling us kind of where this is headed, but we need a lot more work done by all the teams.
So okay, so if I want to do like a crossword, should I just make another box somewhere, or would that be too much going on? Um, I want to do like some dailies, but I also fuck it. Actually, you know what? I'll just fully commit to being entertainment for while we do shit. Although I'm not sure if you guys will be able to read. Let's try it out. Box it up, another box. No, I'll just do it in here because like a video, crossword, 2 other videos, like it just might be too much. I'm like, oh, actually, I suppose I could have my display capture here, have another window capture. Oh my god. First of all, are the crossword clues legible at all? Like, can you see they are? Should I zoom in a bit? Let's say that. Is that good for people? How about, oh, what about with the adjustment? No? Serious? Is the stream like low quality? Looks fine on my end. Make this bigger, I guess. Stream's low quality. Okay. Then let's move this Johnson down here. We'll do this for now. Then hi guys. It's a little goofy, right? It's gotta be. Wouldn't be a Dustin or one Dustin two. Wouldn't be a Gray Matter broadcast if it wasn't a little bit goofy. Let's do that. Perfect-ish. Okay. A little scuffed, but what are you gonna do? Alright. Go over some lines. Say recite, practice, something like that. Cricket swatters. Rags? I don't know if you... I don't play cricket at all. How often Ozempic is taken? Bi-weekly? Any Ozempers? Alright, let's see. Hedgehog like mammal of Madagascar. What is it this shit Mort is? A lemur? Like, getting crowded out here. Let's move the cube up so I can put this Johnson, like, here. This guy here. Anyone know what the fuck Mort is? Like, 'cause I want to say, like, lemur or some shit, but... Let's go. Anniversary celebration for an adopted pet. Home day? Your birth, something day. Superficial part. My wiener. Charles Lamb's essays of 5th grade. Glass holding about 3 pints of ale. Is this Johnny Depp's mega pint? Glass holding about 3 pints of ale. Stein? Any Europeans? Help me out here. A boot? Maybe? Let's see. What else we got? Mother of Helen of Troy. I have no clue. A boot, a beer. Shooting stars? Shooting? Like a stunt doubles? Like some games. Bored? Video? Could be bored. No, it could not be bored. I'm stupid. As if. Huh? Ew? I don't know. Be part of as a play, act in. Edna Holmes? Fuck. Fuck. Adoption day? Rescue day? Each month? I don't know. I'm telling you, we need some. I got you. Goes off. Sounds. Some rings. I got you. I hear. Maybe this is once a day? Once a week? I don't know how. Ha. As if. I got you. Mother of Helen of Troy. John Cena? I don't fucking know. Skydivers? A gourd? South American capitals. Buenos Aires? That would make sense. One of 10 reasons not to skip a workout. Cleopatra? Wait, well, for what? What do you, Cleopatra for Mother of Helen of Troy? It's 4 letters. Thanks, Nightbot. Icelandic hotspot. Sauna. Goes left. Realizes where the real politics are. Nuke. A bomb. A WMD. A weapon of mass destruction. Goes left. Hms and haws? Anatomical filter? Pancreas? Moved clumsily. Lumbered. Fly by night. Red eye. It's a snap. Thanos! Wall hanging. Maybe. Okay, signals of a sort. Signs for Oklahoma. Beck, come on. You know how often Ozempic is taken. Help me out here. Googly? Anybody? Let me know. Also, if anyone wants to hop in Discord, provide some entertainment while we do the dulls. Oh, man, now. Or a glass holding 3 pints of ale. Come on. You gotta. Twice a day. Well, actually, twice a day would work. I guess. Let's try it out. No, I think it is once a week. Because shooting stars, skydivers, boot was good. Yeah, but I think skydivers is right. Unless it was like, I was thinking either skydivers or stunt doubles. And what kind of fucking shoe is holding 3 pints of ale? I was thinking something like Stein. Or Gord? Or... I'm not sure. Some German shit. No, I know. That's why I was thinking it. But what else would shooting stars be? Like, I'll see if stunt doubles works. No. Because skydivers just works with Buenos Aires. Fixer of a sort. Sky. Like, it's gotta be divers. It's a snap easy as pie. Okay. Blumbered. Clambered. Sleuth, and this isn't Sherlock, because Sherlock doesn't fit. Goes off, bangs. Flamberg is a sword? No, clambered. Like moves clumsily. Clambered, blumbered. Schlumped? What's it? Not sure. Flowers in the same family as asparagus and agave? Cauliflower. Wait, is it part of that one plant that's got cauliflower, broccoli, kale, and I'm not sure if asparagus is one of them. Anatomical filter. Pancreas? The liver? Livers. goes left? Y'all? Clumbeed? I don't know. All right, well, I would... I think the crossword will be its own separate mini video on the live channel because I was hoping I could make this like the Dulls segment as like a standalone thing, because if you check out Dustin Gray live, the Scrandle part is actually kind of not, well, banging in a relative sense, but it's the only one that's got like natural discovery on it, so that's cool. One of 10 reasons. I feel like I'm not getting the joke here at all. One of 10 reasons not to skip a workout. You become a big loser. Get small? As if I think is ha. Like some games. Shit? There are some games that are shit. Wit? Some games are away. Jack Flintlock, thank you. Hello, welcome to the stream. Dude, good fucking call there. How you going? A yard, isn't that the name of a... Yeah, dude, that fucking nice pull there. And I'm pretty sure there is a glass called a yard, right? Watching the world burn. The world burning is a little bit on pause right now. Doesn't look like there's too much going on with the protests yet, but we've got a live feed of that. We've also got a live feed of Tel Aviv. So we're just doing some crosswords and other trivia shit while nothing ever happens. I'm investing big in nothing ever happens stock. We'll see though, because Netanyahu said that they were going to resume bombing. So we'll see, but until that happens, nothing ever happens. Okay. I'm kind of mad at myself for not remembering the mother of Helen of Troy. It's kind of bugging me. Yogi Berra. Have a classic. I don't know who Yogi Berra performed with, but Crabs. Petiversary. I'm not a millennial. I don't know. I think it's Berra like that. We. Yeah, Yogi Berra. Trying to think of like a Facebook post or MySpace. Trying to tap into the millennial fur baby zeitgeist. What would you call this? This probably might be something hairy. We'll see. Charles Lamb, Essays of... No prob. No. Not... Sleuth Holmes. It's not Sherlock. Isn't it like Edna Holmes? Fucking hell. This has been a hint before, and I'm just Jack Flintlock, you got any other wise words of wisdom for me here? His brother Mike. I only knew of two. Yeah, I didn't know he had a brother. I know about Watson. Goes over some lines. Maybe another. Yeah, could be. I feel stupid. But I'm pretty sure the New York Times got a new writer, because there's a different flavor to these puzzles, you know? Rehearse. But so maybe this isn't Yogi Berra? I don't think Seiya was Helen. If it gets too rough, we can turn on auto check. As if. I feel like this, like the line you would see is, ha, as if. I don't know. I gotta work on my sass. And this, it wouldn't fit for away here, so Enya Holmes? I don't know. Charles Lamb's Essays of Jail? I have no idea. This goes off, I thought was either bangs or rings. Got you. This. Roger. Okay. Okay, let's goes over some lines. So maybe this isn't even in an acting sense. Maybe it's like accounting. Recreams? Rea crabs? Reacrams? That's not right. Yeah, but Hearsa could be. So then what would be shooting stars, like, but with, parachute shoot? That's why I thought it was skydivers. Stunt doubles is what I thought at first, but it doesn't fit. What is this? 1 of 10? Okay, yeah. Recrawl. And what would be, instead of Yogi Berra, there's just a lot that it would have to change if it wasn't that. Wait, we don't know about the Leia. Is it Rhea? Asrabs? Scribes? Go over some lines. Any trivia heads in the world, mother of Helen of Troy. I feel like this is one that someone has to just have unlock. Come on, Percy Jackson heads. And maybe this isn't Harry. Okay, trying to clean out the shit that we don't 100% have. Essays of Exit? Come on, we could reverse engineer a pun, right? I'm gonna give myself a headache from thinking too hard. Anniversary celebration for an adopted pet. Thinking like rescue day, home day. Thanks, Nightbot. I don't know. Should I turn on auto check? I don't want this to be like an hour-long segment. I think I'm going to do that. Whoa, okay. Well. Jesus. Anatomical filter. I really thought liver was the only thing that could be. Damn. Yeah, fucked. So. Oh, Jesus. We go over some lines. See, in rehearsal was right. No, because the A is still correct here. Is it Lita? It was an L. Goes over some lines. Now that I will agree with. The new writer, bro, I'm like typically pretty decent. I'd say I get about half the crosswords with no help. But this week, ever since the big shift change, I didn't even check the writers. I was like, something smells different about these puzzles. Got ya day? When you go over lines you read them, that's true, but there's like rehearsing Jesus, I don't even know where my camera is. Rehearsing lines, crossing lines, accounts for there's a lot of things it could be, so there's a lot of good puns to put here. Gotcha day. Thank you. That is correct. Thank you. Ya? As if. Nah? Well, trust me, that's why we're on auto check. Pa? Oh, like spitting. Pa! Pa? Yeah, I know. You would typically see it as ba or ha, as not pa, as if. I'm fucking losing my mind. Go. Good fucking poll. I would have liked to see a little more like pun that would steer you in that direction. But I get it. Just a little more pizzazz or something. I don't know who Mira is. Enola? That's what I was thinking. Okay. Rants? Okay, that's fair. Ellis? D. It feels more like a Mad Libs than a cross. Well, the pa part, yeah, I fully agree with you on that. That is some BS. Haws? But like goes left. Like I was thinking like hms and haws. But so I had that there, but decaf decathlon? Yeah, that's what I was reason not. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But that's not it. Fuck, like we're mind linked. We both put that there at the same time, but I'm thinking like, like atrophy. One with, not one so it's the okay. So right. I guess. I'm pissed. Some of them are like, once you get them after, you're like, Kind of. I should have read that more closely, to be fair. But, let's see. This one I'm thinking along the lines of clumbered. No. Or bumbled. Blumbled? Oh, yeah. Ever since I reorganized the stream, it's been... Damn, we got 12 people in here. Hi, everybody. That's cool. Feel famous. Well, that's why we're on the internet, right? All right, let's see. Anyways, oldest sports franchise that has never won a championship in the Big Four leagues. Huh? Albany? I don't know. Chicago? No. Jersey? I don't know. Relative of a skeleton. A bone? I'm assuming active. Probably. It might be like a ranger, warrior. Line that comes from the heart. I thought the aorta was a valve, not a line. Am I tripping? What the aorta is? Please don't show me an actual main. Oh, it is a vessel. All right, I'm dumb. My bad. My bad. My bad. I lied. I'm stupid. Anything yet? Nope. Okay. Nobody's blowing each other up yet, so we're good for oldest sports franchise. Relative of a skeleton. Not a bone. Okay. Intel asset. A CPU? Why an asset? It should just be product. Yeah. Well, we've got the live feed, so. Intel asset for short, SPY. Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll see. I like the way you think. The S&P 500 is tracked on that spinning cube, but it is a Saturday, so there's no trading. Yeah, I broke some of my widgets, but there's more to come. There's more to come. I'm working on making this like a more professional looking thing. Although some older viewers are not a fan of that. The Pacers? Okay. Tacoma? Part. Yeah, probably. What the fuck is going on in my YouTube thing? This shit is not working. Why is it? It's like hours behind. All right, whatever. I guess we'll just do single stream on Twitch.